My name is Renee Garcia, guys, and this is TransurfingTV. And today on TransurfingTV, oh my God, I'm super excited. Today is the first day in my new studio, and I'm gonna take everything for a little test drive. I didn't have to do any soundproofing. I am in a basement that's like really ideal for filming, and I'm just really excited to be here. I made the plunge, I took the plunge, and part of my anomalous action challenge we did last month, I sold my house and moved to an entirely new state. And oh my God, it was like this epic adventure where I had so much happen to me, so many insights, so much cycling out of the old and feelings of really elevating to a new lifeline. And it was challenging because at first, I didn't know what it was I was going to. I knew that certain things were happening on my current lifeline that I wanted to see happen, like selling my house and moving on from my hometown. Certain parts of my reality that I had been looking for a while to leave behind and move on from, but I didn't know where I was going. I was moving, I have moved to a state that I've never even been to. And this was sort of the ultimate leap of faith. I rented a house sight unseen. I moved to a town sight unseen. And when I found myself needing to push from my current life track into this new space that I had yet to see or experience, it sort of made that push from that old life track a little more challenging because I didn't know what I was pushing for, if that makes sense. And I'll be honest, it was super hard, and I don't want to say I was doubting because again, I wanted to leave behind certain things that I had been looking to leave behind for a while. So I had that to fall back on, but the rest was just this ultimate epic leap of faith. And I just sort of knew that I had these benchmarks throughout my, clues or keys or some sort of confirmation from my external environment, from my layer of reality, that I was in fact moving in the right direction. So even though my lower self, if you will, was having doubts and finding it challenging to really think positively about something I had yet to experience, I knew transurfing was there for me. I knew my layer of reality had shown me all these things that I needed to see, where it was like, well, of course it's going to be ideal. Of course it's going to be perfect. Why would your world lead you this far without it being absolutely ideal and perfect for you, Renee? And oh my God, I got here and it's fabulous and it's everything that I've ever wanted. And I feel as though I've kind of hacked it. I've hacked it and I'm here and I'm loving it. And I'm sort of in this dream, like, I want to say almost like a daze or something, where I feel almost as if my reality isn't exactly matching up with my mind yet, because it's almost too good to be true. I can legitimately say that I have absolutely everything that I want in my life right now, and I owe this all to Reality Transurfing. So in this video today, I'm going to talk about two different things that human beings are challenged with in our lives, especially if we grew up in dysfunctional households where there was poverty mentality and lack mentality and imbalances with money and debt and the flux of a healthy relationship with money in your early development, and also love, which is exactly the same in my opinion. And these are some insights that I've gained actually on the trip here. It was a long, very, very, very arduous journey, if you will, 20 plus hours. I think it took us like 3 days to get here. And I had a lot of insights and a lot of time to think as we were driving. And one of my thoughts was that I've managed to completely transform my relationships with both love and money. And as I was driving away from my hometown, my pockets even fuller than when I got there, leaving my hometown with the love of my life, this beautiful, amazing man that has meant the world to me and treats me like an absolute queen, and I'm so fortunate. And I'm going with him on this epic adventure to move to a new place and start a life together. And I couldn't help but think, this is it. I've managed to hack my own issues with both the energy of love and the energy of money. So again, a lot of time to think, and I'm going to share with you some of my thoughts today on, and I know I have my Becoming Magnetic course, my Mo Money course, where I talk a lot about these things, but as transurfing goes, you fine tune your practice more and more and more, and even though I have what it is that I want today, that's evolving, and so will my transurfing practice in order for me to support more of what I intend to have, right? So I'm gonna get into 8 or 9 points as I see them, how to cycle out of lower nature thoughts regarding love or money or challenges with love and money, and cycling in to some higher frequency thinking about love and money, obviously lowering levels of importance, which is key, and stepping into a lifeline where you do not feel a sense of lack for either, regardless of how much of it you have in your life. Before I get started, remember to like this video and subscribe and comment below, and join us on the Facebook group, the International Transurfing Institute Facebook group, all links below, and my courses, Becoming Magnetic, Mo Money, Reality 2.0, those are actually bonuses in the Reality 2.0 course if you would like to take them, and then there's a new and improved version coming out soon, and then Tufty 2.0. I have to say, a lot of what I'm experiencing today is absolutely because of the Tufty 2.0 course and the concepts, how they've helped me in really just narrowing down where my energy can be best served to create a reality of my choosing today, and I've done it. So all links below, guys. Okay, so I made a post on the Facebook group. You can go back and take a look. I'm sure if you want to just search love and money, you can see the entire post. But I'm going to just read the points that I made on the post, and then I would like to, just touch a little on each of them and sort of elaborate on how I came to these ideas and what they have done specifically to help me attract more love and money. Okay, so the first point, love and money become overly glorified when there is less, therefore seemingly more elusive, and then the vicious cycle begins. This contributes to a distorted reality where neither exist. Okay, so this is sort of where I existed for a lot of years. Again, I grew up in a household with a lot of financial dysfunction. Somewhere in my childhood, I became convinced of this idea that if I could just get some money, everything would be perfect in my life. And here is where I sort of ventured into a lifeline where even if I did make money, it actually put me deeper into a hole and exacerbated my poverty mentality, which ran really, really deep. I had really serious poverty mentality for a long time. I have to say the last 5 years, I'm 41 now, the last 5 years I've managed to get myself out of this poverty mentality almost entirely, but again, that was a long time before that I was suffering with poverty mentality. So what happened was I convinced myself that money was sort of this god, and I put way too much importance on it. And what this did is it constantly made me feel a sense of lack. And even when I made money, the money wouldn't really do anything for my emotional state. So then I just was convinced that I needed more, right? So there was never enough. And this cycle just got more and more violent and sort of tornadoed into a desperation, if you will, that when, let's say I made a big sale in my business and everything was going well, I would get the large sum of money into my life, but then it wouldn't do the thing that I thought it was supposed to do for me, and then panic would ensue. So again, this was an extremely unhealthy place to exist in, and it didn't matter how much I made. Even though it was seemingly elusive, when it would come in, I would just go deeper and deeper into a hole and panic even more and more and more. So if you can relate to that, definitely leave some thoughts below. This is my first and very crucial a crucial step in helping me totally renovate this line of thinking, right? It's not elusive, and it doesn't actually mean that much. That's the bottom line. 2, to have more of either. Remember the mirror. Give love to yourself, you receive love. Invest in yourself, your mirror will invest right back. Okay, so the mirror concept for me, again, talking about my poverty mentality in the past and my lack of self-love, that ultimately led me to a place where I thought that what it was I needed was someone to love me. That's why whenever I encountered someone that would love me, it would never really work out, and the same thing would sort of ensue that happened with the money. I would get it, and then I would sort of start to panic, like, whoa, wait a second, this is what I wanted, why isn't it working then? Why aren't I feeling any better? And the bottom line of it was I needed to learn to love myself first. Then it sort of brought me up to ground zero, and then love from someone else would actually matter. But it wasn't until I really started to gain a sense of the mirror and work with the mirror on a daily basis of investing in myself financially. This is investment with, money, time into a project, energy into a project, and then with love, the same thing. I needed to invest in myself lovingly in order for me to reconcile that image in the mirror, where then whatever it was that I was to gain externally, a new romantic partner and more money, then it wasn't like just feeding this big empty hole. I could actually feel it a little bit, but it started with me first. Okay, so then on to 3. View money and love as a free-flowing river. The less importance, excess potential, and emotional charge, the water runs clear and smoothly. If too much imbalance, a dam of debris forms. Waters get murky and nothing flows in or out. To clear the dam, remember the mirror and learn to live happily with neither. So again, excess potential, needing to have these things, feeling lack, feeling inadequate, questioning, well, why aren't I lovable, or why can't I seem to gather some money for myself? And all this sort of thinking creates a jumbled abscess of energy that kind of stops exactly what it is you're intending to have from flowing in naturally and in a healthy manner. So the river analogy, I use this in both my money course and my Becoming Magnetic course. The river analogy helps me to remember too that a river isn't just a flow in. There's also a flow out. And that flow out is just as pertinent as the flow in. To keep the river clear and clean and free of debris and flowing healthily, it needs to be moving. Because again, if you're just concerned about the flow in, but then the flow out is obstructed, that flow in is going to stop. So an example, flowing out. Flowing out is spending money with ease. Flowing out is spending money the way that money's intended to be used. Flowing out is not being overly concerned about collecting too much money. Now, here's the odd thing about this sort of idea, and this took me a while to really get up to speed with this, but it's an absolute game changer. The more that flows out for me, the more that flows in, and as long as I can really keep that going, my financial wealth continues to grow, even with an abundance going out, an abundance coming in. It grows. As soon as I stop and I think, oh, well, you know, I don't want to spend, or I'm going to feel guilty about spending this money on this thing or whatever, then that flow in kind of stops as well, and I kind of lock up on it, and my wealth starts to diminish. Now, this doesn't happen too often anymore because I understand the movement of this energy, and I know exactly my levels of a healthy flow in and a healthy flow out. So the river is the same with love as well. Let go of people easily. Don't hold on to people's love or words or affection to the extent that you're kind of locking down on that energy that's coming into your reality. This can be really, really dangerous because, you know, as I've talked about a lot in my past videos, this gives off the vibe of desperation, and people naturally don't like that. It's a repellent, right? So making certain that with both love and money, it's coming in easily, you're expressing what you need to express energetically to invite it in, and you're also willing to say goodbye with ease. Okay, so action is key. Always and without exception. If you want more money, you must speak to money with your action. If you want more love, you must speak to love with your action. So demanding love is not giving love, obviously, and not taking action, sitting on your couch watching Netflix all night, this is definitely not speaking to money. Use this time to facilitate growth with something that you feel is going to be a stream of income. And with these sort of insights and maintaining your connection with action consistently. Now, with both of these things, you could say, well, I don't get how to do it. It's actually pretty easy. Energy out for money and self-love towards yourself for love. Start here. If anything, just start here. And as I get on to my next steps, I'll talk about how your world then kicks in to acknowledging that action you're taking and shows you even more ways, higher and better ways in which you can increase both your levels of love and money. Follow the principles of reality transurfing without doubt, questions, or inconsistencies. Yes, it's a process, but what would you be doing instead? Sitting around hoping, wanting, and waiting? Dive in and don't stop. Okay, so this is for those of you that are doubting transurfing or have yet to see real results. Go in fully and don't stop. And I promise you, even though it has taken me 6 years to get here, I am absolutely I'm so happy that I took the time to focus on my transurfing practice and invest in myself. This is now rewarding me. This practice is rewarding me big time. So what will you be doing otherwise? What will you be doing otherwise? Set the intention to change your ways. If you are struggling with either love or money, your world will show you the methods and the path that will lead you to recovery and an abundance of both. Again, I got myself to a point where I was like, I'm tired of this. I'm tired of this shit. I'm tired of struggling with myself romantically. I'm tired of struggling with money. I'm tired of poverty mentality. I'm tired of not getting what it is that I want. So I set the intention to co-create with my external environment a reality, a layer of reality where I have an abundance of both, but I couldn't just do it on my own. This is inner intention. I had to ask my world for help. My world has delivered to me all the tools and strategies and insights and everything that I need, and I'm there to accept it and work with what my world is providing so I can actually materialize this sector of reality where I have exactly what it is that I want. I could not do it alone. You are both the problem and the solution. Again, looking to your reality, and this was one of my biggest problems in the past. Oh my God, I drove myself fucking insane doing this, but like always playing the victim. Everybody else always has stuff. Why does so-and-so get married? Why? I remember I was in this relationship once and I had so much importance on getting married, and somebody else told me that they had proposed to their girlfriend, and in front of them, I started crying. I mean, it was really pathetic, and I thought to myself, why is the world rewarding this person and not me? Why am I struggling so much with this stuff, yet other people are getting it so easily? And I put all of the blame on my external environment and didn't take any accountability that it was me and my faulty thinking that was creating this layer of reality. So as soon as I acknowledged that I was the problem, then I could become the solution. And this is where the magic began to happen, because in myself, I actually have control. In myself, if I take accountability, I can put the key into the hole and turn it and open the door to a reality that I want. Finally, to wrap this up, I know this is a little long. Learn to live with little, learn to live with plenty. When less is coming in, this is perfect. When more is flowing, it's no big deal. Okay, so this is probably one of my most powerful points for this video, is acknowledging that love and money are awesome, but you are not going to allow them to be, you're not going to allow your happiness, your state of being, to become contingent on your levels of love or money. Again, this is you placing demands on your external environment, and this is going to make a distorted image appear in your mirror. So what I have learned, be happy when I don't have things. Be happy, learn to feel satisfied when the levels aren't exactly perfect. Anyway, right? Anyway, feel satisfied anyway. And when it's coming in, don't act like God has just completely blessed you. Act indifferent to it, because as soon as it starts to come in, if you respond to it like, oh my God, I always want to have this amount of money coming in, or oh my God, I always want to feel this in love, then there's excess potential created. And again, balancing forces will come in to eradicate that shit. And this is why I think a lot of us are challenged with swaying levels of love and money. If you can learn to live with little and learn to live with plenty, you are going to balance out your playing field energetically in your layer of reality, and it just happens. And there's not a bunch of emphasis on dwindling levels or getting it higher or doing all these different things to make some sort of results in your life. Chill out, be happy, and remember your mirror. So long one, I know. I definitely want to hear your thoughts. Please let me know them. Comment below and like this video if you in fact like it. And I definitely want to hear what you guys have to say. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.